the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2, to consider the names of demigod like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6, to give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. And 10 is to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions in this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the divine success, the desired success, Krishna Prema. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome once again to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Before we proceed to our Srimad Bhagavatam call, if you could kindly unmute yourself and announce your name so I can welcome you all in this platform. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. My humble obeisances to all Vaishnavas. My name is Trupti and I'm from London. And happy to join your association. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Trupti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call, Mataji. Please keep giving us your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, my humble obeisances at your lotus feet, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for your kind association and all glories to your beautiful services, Mataji. Please keep blessing us with your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj's. My humble obeisances to you and all the this is Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call, Mataji. Please keep joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devidasi from Chicago, Illinois.
Hari Bol, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajas. All glories to all the beautiful assembled devotees here, Mataji. Thank you so much for joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call and thank you for wonderful chanting, Mataji. Please keep giving us your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji, and what pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Vrinda from Atlanta.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call, Mataji. Please keep joining. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Anjali Mataji, thank you so much for joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all our Guru Maharajas. Thank you for giving us your association. We also have greetings from Shobha Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Yes, Mataji, do continue to chant your rounds. Hare Krishna and welcome to Bhakti Sangha. Today we are very honored to have His Grace, His Holiness, Candramauli Swami Maharaj, who will be joining us shortly and who will be our keynote speaker in the Srimad Bhagavatam Katha. Prior to the class beginning, I will go ahead and read a brief introduction for His Holiness. So His Holiness, Candramauli Swami Maharaj, is a disciple of ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. and he's also an initiating spiritual master within the ISKCON movement. Maharaj was born in New Jersey in 1947. Maharaj came in contact with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in Denver, Colorado, at the tender age of 24. In 1973, he began practicing Krishna consciousness in New York City, and shortly thereafter began serving at the New Vrindavan Farm community in West Virginia. That same year, he received initiation from Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In 1986, His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj accepted the sannyas order and began preaching in Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio. In 1995, he began serving as the resident sannyasi in Chicago, where he was based until 2013, when he relocated to Karlovac, Croatia, in Europe. At present, Maharaj offers spiritual guidance around Europe, USA, as well as India. Maharaj has also written a book called Krishna's Way, Natural Living, about the importance of Varnashrama and spiritual ecology. That was a brief introduction for His Holiness before he joined. Maharaj was here 2 weeks ago in Chicago, in Naperville. He graced our humble abode, and a lot of devotees got his books. So it's so beautiful. You might want to check it out online. Hare Krishna devotees. I don't think Maharaj has joined us yet. Until he joins, please feel free to unmute yourself and announce your name and give me an opportunity to welcome you all in this platform. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi from Elkhorn.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all our Guru Maharajas. All glories to all the wonderful devotees here. And all glories to your persistent, consistent, wonderful services, Mataji. Please keep giving us your association. Welcome.
To you and all the devotees, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call every day. Thank you, Mataji. Welcome.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Vali from Naperville, Chicago. Good to see you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Vali Mataji, my Dandavat Pranam Mata, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call during the Bhagavatam Katha, Mataji. Please keep giving us your association. Hare Krishna. Revati Mataji, thank you so much for joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Please keep gracing us with your association. All glories indeed to His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all our Guru Maharajas here. Mataji, welcome. We are still waiting for His Holiness to join. If there is somebody else who would like to announce their name, please feel free. Otherwise, we can continue to chant. Okay, we will go ahead and chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. I see His Holiness has joined. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet, Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, and all glories to all our Guru Maharajas. Thank you so much for your association today, Maharaj. So, whenever you are ready, we will continue from Canto 8. We are currently in Chapter 5. If you could kindly enlighten us from verse 35 and 36, please, Maharaj. Whenever you're ready, you can take the call over. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Agnir Mukam Yasatu Jata Vedam Jata Kriya Kandanimita Janma Atasamudre Nupacha Swadatum Prasaditam Nasa Maha Vibhutihi. Fire, which is born for the sake of accepting obeisances and ritualistic ceremony, is the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Fire exists within the depths of the ocean to produce wealth, and fire is also present in the abdomen to digest food and produce various secretions for the maintenance of the body. May that Supreme Powerful Personality of Godhead be pleased with us. Yachakshar asitananir deva yagnam trayi mayo brahmana esha dishyam varam chamuktar amritam chamrityu prasaditam nasa mahavibhutihi. Translation: the sun god marks the path of liberation, which is called Archiradi Vartma. He is the chief source of understanding the Vedas. He is the abode of the supreme and absolute truth that can be worshipped. He is the gateway of liberation. He is the source of eternal life as well as the cause of death. The sun god is the eye of the Lord. May the Supreme Lord, who is supremely opulent, be pleased with us. Purport. The sun god is considered the chief of the demigods. He is also considered to be the demigod who watches the northern side of the universe. He gives help for understanding the Vedas, as is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Yachakshuresa savitam sagalagrahanam raja samasta suramurtim asesa teja yasya jaya brahmati samritakala chakro Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The sun, full of infinite effulgence, is the king of all planets in the image of the good soul. The sun is like the eye of the Supreme Lord. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in pursuance of whose order the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of time. The sun is actually the eye of the Lord. In the Vedic mantras, it is said that unless the Supreme Personality of Godhead sees, no one can see. Unless there is sunlight, no living entity on any planet can see. Therefore, the sun is considered to be the eye of the Supreme Lord. This is confirmed here by the words Yachakshar Asit, and in the Brahma Samhita by the word Yachakshar Asa Savita. The word Savita means the sun god. Omagyanti Mirandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksavirmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutalai Srimakte Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamni Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharya Vasesa Sunyavadhi Pastyatya Satarine Vanshakopanta Rubhischa Kripa Sindhu Pe Patitanam Padmanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this verse from the Brahma Samhita describing the activities and the position of the sun is fundamental to it's given to us by Lord Brahma in his realization of the absolute truth. The sun is used in an analogous way, in many ways. He gives light. Light is also considered to be knowledge. There's one verse in the Bhagavad Gita that says that just like when the sun comes, everything becomes illuminated and everything can be seen. So in the same way, when one receives transcendental knowledge, all ignorance is destroyed, darkness is dissipated, and one can understand things as it is. So the sun, and of course in other places throughout the scriptures, it says that here he takes away one's life also. He's the cause of death. As the setting and the rising of the sun, the rising and the setting of the sun, another day is lost and one is closer to death. But then the verse goes on to say, except for one who engages in hearing the glories of the all-good personality of Godhead. So for the devotees, the sun doesn't take away the duration of life. It brings one closer to eternal life. For the non-devotees, those who live simply to find enjoyment in the ephemeral activities of the material energy, see the sun actually as a threat to their happiness, because each day one is closer to death. But devotees don't die because they live eternally in relationship to the Supreme Lord in devotional service. Just like we are here now and we are serving the Lord. And when we leave this body, we'll go someplace else and continue to serve the Lord. And if we have reached perfection in devotional service, then we go back to the spiritual world to continue our service in free from all of the encumbrances that come by way of living in the material world. So the sun has different meanings for different people. When you look at it, the sun, without the sun, there's no life, actually. Darkness, this planet would be just simply cold and dark, and there would be no life. But the sun is considered to be the eye of the Lord. And it says that he sees everything through the sun. It's explained in the Shastras that there are 13 witnesses for all of the activities of the conditioned souls in the material world. The moon, the sun, the clouds, the sky. And it goes on to describe 13 different witnesses, the sun being one. The sun is a personality. There is the sun planet, and then there's the sun god. And the sun god is sometimes known as Vivishwan. But higher than Vivishwan is the manifestation of Krishna as the sun, and that is Lakshmi Narayan. So actually the sun actually is Narayan. because it is directly initiated by the Supreme Lord to give life to the living entities who are struggling here in the material world. The foolish materialists, the atheists, they see everything around them, but they can't understand how everything is happening, and they say everything is happening by chance. When you ask them how everything is created, they say nature. Then when we say, well, whose nature is it? Is it a dog's nature? Is it a lion's nature? Whose nature? It's God's nature. Nature refers to a personality. So, but because they are foolish or ignorant and don't want to change their stubborn ideas, they come up with these philosophical ideas which do not make any sense. That everything happens by chance. There's no such thing as chance. Chance means I don't know. You say, oh, that happened by chance. That means you just don't know the cause. That's all. So there's no such thing as chance. There's a cause behind everything. And as it says in the Shastras, the supreme cause, the cause of all causes, Ishwar Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who by his existence initiates all activities through his, either directly or indirectly through his external energies. So everything has a cause, nothing happens by chance. There's a little humorous exchange between Prabhupada and his disciples. Prabhupada was talking about this principle that everything has a cause. And one devotee wanted to give an example where he could not understand. So he said, well, Prabhupada, I was in the shower this morning and the shower piece fell off and hit me on the head. But Prabhupada said, yes, the cause is you're a rascal. So you need to hear from the spiritual masters when you get bewildered about why things happen the way they do happen. Because there is two causes. There's a remote cause and there is the immediate cause. The immediate cause is not the cause. It's just the initiation of the remote cause. Everything, just like it says, well, a child comes out and it's born, but what is the cause? The cause is the combination between the mother and the father. And who created that cause between the mother and the father to create? Now there is a supreme cause even beyond that. So one cannot see everything. On one hand, one likes to speculate, at least that's the materialist, because they don't want to give any credit to God, or they say that God does not exist. Or even if they have good intelligence, they use their intelligence to go around the principles of existence by talking about how interaction with material energy brings about. It's like if you put oxygen and hydrogen together in a certain proportion, you get water. So they say, well, the cause is hydrogen and oxygen, but who created hydrogen and oxygen? And where is hydrogen and oxygen coming from? They can't give a clear answer. They say it's just there in nature. So this is, but we understand everything has a cause. And here, the sun, as it says here, is the chief amongst all of the demigods. Why? Because it's the eye of the Lord. It's like Krishna's watching you in different ways. He's there within the heart, seeing all of our activities, monitoring our activities, and even directing our activities. And he's there in the external energies also in different ways. So the sun actually is one of the chief means by which Krishna observes everything within the created cosmic world. So we appreciate the sun. There are people called sun worshippers. We don't worship the sun, but we worship Krishna, who manifests himself as the sun. And therefore, we're worshiping the sun indirectly or directly through worshiping Krishna, who is the manifestation of the existence of the sun, who is the eye of the sun. I see that even great souls, personalities who engage in devotional service also appreciate God's creation and may also offer prayers to the sun, like this verse here. Yachakshar esa savitasa galagrahanam raja samasta suramurti matesa tesa yagyag brahmadisam pratakala chakro govindam hari purusham tamaham bhajami. The sun full of infinite effulgence. This is an interesting thing. The karmis can and the non-devotees cannot explain that the sun has been giving out heat and light for billions of years, but it never decreases in its energy. If you have an energy source, you'll see after a while that source or that energy starts to dissipate, and you have to re-energize that source again. But here, the sun, billions of years, it doesn't get any colder. The light doesn't get any dimmer. It continues to put out the same billions of years. So where does the sun get its source? From Krishna, as it says here. The sun is like the eye of in whose pursuant the sun performs a journey, mounting the wheel of time. So time is governed by the sun. We all know that. Before there was actually watches and different time devices by which one could understand what part of the day it was, they would have a sundial. And according to the position of the sun, they could understand what part of the day it was as the sun moves from place to place. So the sun, it was actually the supreme clock within the universe as it moves things from one situation to another. So it's called Kala Chakra, the wheel of time. Chakra means it moves. It's a wheel. Kala means time. It's the wheel of time. There is a sun god who is actually deputed by the Lord to do this service. He rides on the chariot. When the chariot has 7 wheels, which indicate the different paths by which the sun traverses. And the sun god directs the sun as it moves from place to place or in the pursuance of its orbit, like that. So there's a personality behind who is deputed by the Lord to give the activities of the sun to all the universe. And you might say this person is also worshipable. Some people call him Vivashwan. There's different names for the sun god according to the different time periods of the calculated universal time. So there's a personality. There's a personality for the earth too. She's called Mother Bhumi. For the sun, for the moon, Chandra. For all of the different planets, there is a personality who conducts the activities of that. And as it says, what is that verse? It says that it's a very nice verse. It says, all of the activities that we see are actually initiated by the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's a beautiful verse from the Svetasvatara Upanishads, describing that everything is happening by Krishna. Krishna is the source of everything. Even the slightest little movement anywhere in existence, both spiritual and material, has its source in Krishna. Krishna is the original. He's the Adi Purush, the original source of everything. And through his different energies, it says all he has to do is desire, and the energies move automatically by his desire. He doesn't have to do any work. Sometimes you see the caricatures, how is the planet, this big planet, it's floating in space. No one can measure the weight of this planet, but it's floating in air. It's floating in air. And they say, well, sometimes they caricatures, they got this big muscle guy who carries the earth on his back and he's struggling to hold it up. It's called Atlas. So in their foolishness, they try to create something fictitious and call that some kind of energy. But everything is happening by the will of the Lord. So therefore, one should take shelter of Krishna in all circumstances, engage in devotional service. Because behind everything is the hand of the Lord. Everything, you might say, well, what about the things that happen that no one likes, that's inauspicious, like disease, for since disease is considered something that is unwanted, that is the cause of suffering. Well, what is disease? Disease is simply the opposite of something that is unhealthy, of health, something that is healthy. When something deteriorates, it turns into something that is diseased. So the negative aspects of all existence are simply reflections of the positive, but they are not the actual positive themselves, in the sense that they are the opposite. Just like when we see darkness, what is darkness? Darkness has no existence. It's the absence of light. People say, well, what is evil? Evil is the absence of good. So the negative is simply an absence of the positive, and everything is positive. And if devotees stay in devotional service, even the apparent negative actually becomes positive, because it becomes an opportunity to serve Krishna in that way also. So for devotees, everything is positive. Just like we see sometimes we get sick, and we think, oh, I have to get cured, yes, or else how am I going to go on with my life? Yeah, we work, we do that. We take precautions, we take some curatives. But at the same time, we also know that we can benefit from any situation, because there is a message, there's a lesson, there's some information that's coming that's teaching you something about your situation. And that is also Krishna in a more subtle form. So for devotee, everything is auspicious. Why? Because it leads one closer to Krishna. And coming to closer to Krishna, or becoming Krishna conscious, you might say, is the goal of all activities. Because when one is Krishna conscious, then there is no suffering. There is no loss. There is only perfection. One sees Krishna in everything, and everything in Krishna. And therefore one is always in the best position to experience both knowledge and happiness, because they don't disconnect anything from Krishna. You see Krishna behind everything, either directly or indirectly. Okay, so a little bit about the sun. We can say so much about the sun. We see even that Srimati Radharani, she would go out every day, and she would leave her place in Yadvat, and she would go to a certain place in Vrindavan, and she would do puja to the sun. And Srimati Radharani is superior than the sun. She is the internal, pure, spiritual energy that gives happiness to all of existence. But she worships the sun also. She also teaches how important the sun is. And sometimes she uses that excuse to go out and worship the sun, so she can sneak away from her relatives, so she could meet Krishna somewhere in Vrindavan. her her mother-in-law, Jatila, will say, oh, yes, my daughter-in-law, she's going out to worship the sun, but then she would hide and go see Krishna. Then Prabhupada said, Krishna is the son of all sons. So if you worship Krishna, you don't have to worship the sun directly, but we honor the sun because the sun is a reflection and the eye of Krishna. It's one of his powerful energies, which gives light and heat and nourishment to all of existence. Okay, we can stop there and see if there's any questions.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for such a beautiful, beautiful explanation of Srimad Bhagavatam Katha. Yes, devotees, if you have any questions, please go ahead. If not, then I have two little questions for you, Maharaj.
Yeah, give them time. Let's see if
Yes, let's see if there's somebody.
somebody
Please go
might
ahead.
come through. Let's see. Anju,
Hare Krishna Maharaj, then the Pranam, Srila Prabhupada. This is Valli. I met you in Meena Mataji's place last time. Hare Krishna. Actually, Maharaj, I also heard that sun god is very important for the health, also for good health, and he is the main center point for the heart also. I said like Aditya Hrudayam, when you say if there is any heart disease, you have to pray the sun god and it will be cured. And how is the connection between the good health and the sun god? Also the places like Seattle where there is no sun and gloomy, they said it is a depression mode and they don't get much strength to do the daily activities also. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
yeah. There's people who worship the sun for health, but we don't worship the sun for health. We worship Krishna. And if Krishna gives us health, that's nice. If he doesn't give us health, then that's also nice. Because whatever happens is fine, because for a devotee, it just simply depends on Krishna. We honor the demigods, but we don't worship the demigods. There's a difference like that. We appreciate the sun because it is the eye of Krishna. It is the mercy of Krishna. It gives heat, light, and nourishment. Just like the moon gives nourishment to all vegetables. The flavor of vegetables comes from the energy of the moon. And the sun, it gives heat and it also gives light. The sun, if it reflects on a puddle of urine, turns that puddle of urine into something clean. In other words, all the infection of the urine is gone and it becomes water. So the sun is a purifying agent also. So Krishna gives his mercy through the different energies. But actually, we see everything in Krishna. So one time, one devotee was talking about the sun. Prabhupada said, yes, we worship the sun. We worship the son of Krishna. We worship Krishna. Because Krishna is the source of the sun.
And there is a different month special for the sun also. We say Magha Masa. And then Sunday, we say 1 day in a week for sun also.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear that properly.
Yeah, they say that 1 month in the particular year, just like we do like Kartik for Damodar, and there is 1 month in the calendar for a sun god also. It is Magha Masa, we say. And especially the Sundays of every.
Yeah, but Krishna also said one who worships the demigods is less intelligent, because the demigods get all of their they get all of their power from me. So we don't worship the demigods. We honor the demigods because they're great.
Yeah.
But worship is for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is mentioned throughout the scriptures. If you have $1 million, you have $100. So if you worship Krishna, everything is there.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for your question. We have Anjana Gopika Mataji. Would you like to go ahead, please?
Yes, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my senses at the lotus feet, Maharaj. Maharaj, I have one question regarding this Pancha Puja or something, which impersonalists also go and worship. They also one of the god is they-
Mataji, you went on mute, I think.
yeah.
Sorry.
Sound is coming, Mataji?
Yes.
Nina, maybe you can Nina, you can just hear the question and repeat it so I can understand.
Yes. What's your question, Mataji?
They worship as the five gods. And the impersonalists, they worship the five gods. Means they also keep the deities of sun god at home. Means how they connect to the are they really connected with the sun god, Maharaj, or they just worship everything is Brahman or something like that? Means how they connect, because so many people and they don't have an idea of what is personalist or what is impersonal way of worship or a personal way of worship, but still they keep all the five deities at home, and how they actually connected with Krishna or even demigod like sun god.
Mataji, when you say five deities, which
Yeah,
deities do you mean?
that's Panchopasanam.
Okay.
The five deities are Durga, Surya, Ganesh, Shiva, and Vishnu. These are the five deities. It's called Panchopasana. That's the way but they think that these different personalities are just created for the sake of worship because they believe everything is impersonal. So these deities are there and they're actual persons. They have actual services to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the impersonalists say everything is actually unmanifested. And in order to worship, you need to have some kind of form for worship. So they create this. These different forms of these deities for the sake of worship, and they worship for material benefits. And Krishna says that over and over again. Those who worship the demigods are simply less intelligent because the demigods get their power from me. So yeah, that's their way of worship, but it has very little or any benefit at all.
It means they never connect with Krishna, yes, Maharaj. They somehow mean sometimes the demigod, by worshipping the demigods, they come to the platform of the devotional service. Means who they worship the sun god is as Pancha Upasana, how they come.
Well, the idea of worship is good. Some people worship their dog. Some people worship, their neighbor. They worship political figures. They worship sports heroes. People worship everything. So you can't get away from worship. People will find some way to worship some entity in existence. But unless they come to the platform of understanding their actual position in relationship to the benefit of worship, they'll simply gravitate on this other level and they'll get very little or no benefit at all. Worship for the sake of worship simply disentangles you in this illusion that you are actually doing something spiritual, which is not. This is all material, higher forms of material, but it's not spiritual. Demigod worship is not spiritual, it's material. But we honor the demigods, as I said. So we say if you want to worship, then worship the source of the demigods. As Krishna says, Ahamadi Devanam. I am the source of the demigods. Or if you want to flatter the police officer so you can get the benefit of getting the governor's favor, that's foolish. Better to go right to the governor. So, I mean, this is just, they don't want to acknowledge the position of real worship, because real worship means that they have to relinquish this false sense of worship, and they don't want to do that. Because the Vedas give recommendations for people to worship on different levels. But it's, as you said, it can be a source of elevation. But many times it's a source of not only not elevation, but degradation, or it's a source of seeing that this is the actual goal. It's not the goal. That's why Krishna says, anyone who worships the demigods, they should know the demigods get you can turn to the Bhagavad Gita in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 20. You can see everything there. It's there, 720 in Bhagavad Gita.
Maharaj, one question.
We're going to bring up these verses because people are asking the same questions that I've been answering the whole class. So you want to get a clarification. You want to hear from, so this is 720. Okay. Go to the verse. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations according to their worship of their own nature. Go to the next verse. Go to 21. And Krishna says, I am in everyone's heart as soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his face steady so he can devote himself to that particular deity. So that's their desire, so Krishna fulfills their desires. Krishna gives independence to everyone. But then he goes on to, where are you going? Why are you jumping away for him, Nina? Get back to the verse again. Stay on the verses, the next one. Because it concludes, there's 4 verses. This is 721. Endowed with such faith, he endeavors to worship a particular and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. The demigods can't do anything unless they get the power from Krishna. And then the next verse. We don't read the scriptures, therefore we ask these silly questions. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planet of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So demigod worship gives you limited fruit, some material benefit, which is lost within time. Now go to the 9th chapter, verse number 25. I mean, Krishna is saying all of these things in Bhagavad Gita, but we don't read the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, we ask these questions. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. So you see the word worship is mentioned throughout. So where do you direct your worship at? Therefore, you'll get the results according to the object of your worship. You want to worship the demigods, you may get some limited temporary benefit. That's all. And it's lost in due course of time. So those who are actually intelligent, as Krishna says, will worship him, because he is the source of the demigods. He's the source of everything. And the benefits that we get from worshiping Krishna are eternal, not like the demigods, which they give you some benefit and then it's lost in due course of time. And their benefits are also material, whereas Krishna bestows upon the devotee eternal life, which you can't get by worshiping the demigods. So people are stuck. They like to worship the demigods because the scriptures talk about that, but it's for those who are less intelligent. That's all. because there are people who can't worship Krishna and they won't worship Krishna. Therefore, they have to worship something. So you give them a chance to worship on a lower level. So maybe after some time, they'll wake up that, well, I'm worshiping the demigods and I get something, but then it's lost in time. So is there something that I can attain that I don't lose? Yeah, that is devotional service. Any material activity you perform is lost in time. Anything, no matter how glorious it may look. But any devotional service, no matter how simple it may be, is never lost, because devotional service is above the material. It's Krishna's internal energy, and it gives lasting effect and elevation to the spiritual world, ultimately. So Prabhupada came to teach us where you can actually find your real happiness, your real benefit in life. It's in Krishna. But still, people will worship the demigods because they don't want to worship Krishna, because they think Krishna is too difficult to worship. Yeah.
Maharaj, these five Upasak, are they demigod worshipper or are they impersonalities? Means what is their actual vision? And they both, okay.
As it says in that verse, they go to wherever they worship. So, yeah. Worship according to the object of worship gives you the results accordingly. But those who really want to benefit from worship will worship something, that personality that will give ultimate happiness and eternal life, and also full and transcendental knowledge and freedom from all suffering.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. We have Hemangi Mataji. Mataji, can you please go ahead with your question?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna Maharaj, a wonderful class. Please accept my humble obeisances. Just had a question around this verse from today, 8:5:36. Now, I understood from this previous discussion that we worship Krishna, we don't worship demigods. But the translation here says the sun god marks the path of liberation, which is Archiradi Vartama. So this sun god marks the path of liberation. How do we understand this, Maharaj?
Yeah, but the scriptures say that when you engage in devotional service, you're already liberated, because devotional service is beyond the three modes of material energy. As long as you're engaged in devotional service, you're already liberated. You don't have to apply for liberation automatically. And there's different kinds of liberations also. Not every liberation will bring you to the spiritual world. It will bring you to a higher elevation within the material world. And so liberation is a byproduct. As Bilva Mangala Thakur says, Bhukti and Mukti are standing at my door with folded hands saying, how can I serve you? Bhukti means material happiness. Mukti means liberation. These are byproducts of devotional service. Devotees don't have to try for these separately. They're included in devotional service.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much for the interesting question. Maharaj, we have a request from the devotee. If you could kindly adjust your camera. So if you're on the computer, yes, you could pull it. There you go. Now the devotees will be happy because they can see more of you. We have an interesting question from Rishabh Das on the chat box. He says, Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I have one Srimad Bhagavatam question, if I may. I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam and I got to this part. It's not related to what this canto, Maharaj. So he mentions, compassionate Mahatma Vidura could not stand to see Pandavas distressed at any time. Therefore, he did not disclose this unpalatable and unbearable incident because calamities come of their own accord. According to Niti Shastra, civic laws, one should not speak an unpalatable truth to cause distress to others.
Right.
This distress comes upon us on its own way by the laws of nature.
Right.
So one should not aggravate it by propaganda. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, 13, 13.
Mhm.
The Rishabh is asking, what does this mean for us, Gurudev? We should not say some important information for others if it
Yeah.
is very disturbing. So he's
Unless,
asking,
unless it has some instructional value to that person's life. Otherwise, no. Just like, I don't know, people study history, they understand that when a messenger would come to the king and bring some unpleasant news to the king, that messenger would be killed. They would kill the messenger because he brought something unpleasant. So if you follow that principle, don't worry. All negativity will come in due course of time. You don't have to chase after it. And ultimately, you don't really need negativity to enhance your devotional service, except when that negativity, which is not really negativity, becomes the source of it, knowledge by instructing you what not to do. Then that's different. That's not negativity. That's precautionary knowledge. That's all. But, you know, we like to speak about everybody else's problems. It's called gossip, right? Well, you know, people get together and they say, well, you know, okay, we lost it again. Yeah, people get together and they just want to talk about this person or that person. I saw somebody's T-shirt the other day. It was interesting. Somebody had some inscription on their T-shirt. I couldn't see the last line. There was 4 lines, and one had said, small minds talk about people, medium minds talk about events, great minds talk about um, um, activities. No. Great minds talk about quality.
Ideas.
Ideas.
Idea.
Yeah, ideas. Great minds talk about ideas. And the last line I couldn't see. There's one that's one even higher than that. Some people like to talk about this person, that person. Did you know what she did the other day? Really? Oh, and they get all excited, you know. Gossip. So gossip is one of the principles that falls into the category of useless talks, and it takes away one's life. When one talks uselessly, they're also deteriorating the span of their life. Because talking is energy, and talking should be, as it says in the scriptures, one should speak truthfully and beneficially, avoid speech that offends, and quote the Vedas regularly. So, in a precautionary way, we mention things you should avoid. That we do. And that's part of scripture. It's called nescience, the knowledge of what not to do. That's important. But then again, the people like to talk about everybody else's problems. It's a small mind. Talk about ideas, talk about events, talk about Krishna. Talk about how you can improve your devotional service.
So Rishabh Prabhuji is sending up a follow-up comment. He's saying, interesting. So if someone's country is destroyed by making overnight, by nukes overnight, we should not disclose it. It has no instructional value.
What is that word, overnight?
Yeah. I mean, it just so he's saying, I think Maharaj already answered it that yes, if there is instructional value, they should talk, right? You should mention, but let's see, there are two.
Atomic bombs, for example. So you explain your example.
Yeah.
What's your explanation, Rishabh?
Vijara did instruct and remember.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much. This is well, because it's interesting because it is about Yadus, but I guess it was not time to disclose it because
So disclosing something before it was
Arjuna did disclose it later on. But I was just thinking about this example in our life. Huh?
What
You hear me?
Yeah, what example is that?
I was thinking like if let's say some political things happen and then someone's country is like nuked overnight and it is destroyed, and so it's no value to say someone, oh look, your country where you are born, it's destroyed, and tough luck, because what will they be instructed to do that? It's just like doesn't matter. Let's go to Krishna. So it will maybe be destroying for this person, but it's no instructional value in it.
No, when you're speaking to grown-ups, you don't want to say things that will cause them distress. You want to say things that will help them get free from distress.
Very nice, Maharaj. I need to meditate on this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is a very subtle but very important point. Try to be positive in everything, and people can respond to things that are just like you can say, don't do this, but you can say instead of saying don't do this, you can say do this. With children, you have to tell them about the negative. With grown-ups, you emphasize the positive because they respond more properly to the positive. When you treat grown-ups like children, then you don't develop any type of relationship. Unless you're a guru, or you're a teacher, or you're a parent, then you have a duty to instruct accordingly. But that instruction should end with what is beneficial and not simply speaking about what is not beneficial. You see, the scriptures are like that. Sometimes they talk about a situation that is very unpleasant, but then they show the solution to that unpleasant situation and end on a positive note. Scripture is always like that.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Who's got it in there? Sorry.
So Maharaj, I had a question when we were going through the translation. We were talking that so sun god is a manifestation of Narayan and Lakshmi, you said?
Lakshmi Narayan. Those who worship the sun, and they actually see Lakshmi Narayan in the sun, because the energy, the manifestation of Krishna in the form of the sun is the energy of Narayan. It's Narayan. So they say Krishna is non-different than the sun, but it's not Krishna. It's Krishna in the form of Narayan, which is non-different than Krishna. And wherever there's Narayan, there's Lakshmi.
And so there are so many multiple universes, and there are multiples of suns in every universe, Maharaj. So whenever a universe is dissolving, where do the sun goes back? Is it back to Garbhodaka Vishnu? I mean, where does the sun dissolve then?
The sun is a material planet, but it is, so everything material becomes destroyed during the dissolution. But the personalities are not destroyed. The planet is. That's all.
So what happens to Narayan? Where does he rest after dissolving?
He's not. Narayan doesn't touch the spirit and the material energy. He appears within it, but he is not part of it. Just like Krishna says, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Suvavid. Fools derive me. They think that when I come to the material world, I become material. Or I'm under the influence of the material energy. The sun god, although he appears within the sun, he's not part of the sun. He's transcendental. He's completely spiritual. Just like you're here, and you have a body, but that body's not you. And when the body is destroyed, when your body is destroyed, you live on because you're spiritual. Spirit doesn't undergo transformation. Only material does.
How beautifully explained. But Maharaj, it's a follow-up question. Sorry, Thomas Prabhu. So when our body, we shed it, and let's say the universe is dissolved, we still rest in the Mahavishnu's body. So when
Yeah. If you still have some,
let's say karma left.
Yeah, some material desires. Yeah.
But what happens to the Narayan that are manifested as sun in the material abode?
He remains who he is. Nothing happens to him. He's who he is. He's making things happen. Nothing happens to him.
Beautiful. Wonderful, wonderful. We have Thomas Elliott Prabhu. Would you like to go ahead, please?
Hare Krishna.
Thomas.
Lovely prayer jam last night. I am the first shloka about fire being Krishna's mouth. It is a mind blow as I am pondering, or trying to think through that idea. It makes me like I never heard that specifically before. I had heard whatever. But the things that you put into fire that goes directly to Krishna, is that the implication?
No, no, not at all.
No.
Fire is just an element. That's all it is. These are just ways to connect the elements with Krishna. That's all. It says, the mountains on the earth are his bones. The oceans are his abdomen. But this is analogous. It's not actual reality. Just for the sake of seeing the form of the Lord through the material energy. That's all. It's for people who are materialistic. They can't understand God as a person. So we personalize the material energy in connection to different parts of the universal body of the Lord. Is that clear?
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't pick up the analogous part. And so
it's all analogy. Yeah, analogy.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And when Krishna wants to destroy, he becomes Lord Shiva. And then there's a fire at the end of the creation. It goes like this. What happens is fire destroys everything. So all of the universes will burn up. And the sun will increase in its position and burn up the entire universal planets. And then everything will be burnt to ashes. And then there is a devastation of rain, which will come for 100 celestial years. There'll be an inundation of rain. So everything will drown. But after everything is burnt out, everything will drown. and then everything will dissolve back to its original element. Earth will come into earth, fire will come into fire, water will come into water. There'll be nothing spiritual in there, and that's the end of the creation. But the living entities, they move out of all of that and go back into the body of Mahavishnu and stay there until the next creation comes. You can hear Prabhupada talks about this, how the devastation of the universe comes. First it's fire, the sun will come closer to the earth and burn everything up. So don't stick around. Could get pretty hot here, you know. The idea is to get back home, back to God before it all happens.
Thank
So,
you so much.
as a follow-up, because it is an analogous for this destruction, and I don't know if this is an ignorant question. There's nothing special I should regard fire, like lighting a candle or my stove, or
Fire is one of the elements that make up material energy. And fire has some value. We use fire for worship. We light ghee lamps and we offer that flame. When we offer the peacock fan, we offer air. When we offer incense, we're offering earth. When we're offering the ghee lamp, we're offering fire. When we're offering the flower, we're offering smell. These are all of the basic elements. So we offer the elements in the form of worship in different forms like that. Because everything is meant to be worshipped by the Lord. And fire is the purest of all elements. But more powerful than fire is water, because water can destroy fire. But fire is very powerful. As it says here, you can't digest food unless the fire in your body is actually strong. Ayurveda bases its health analysis on the strength of your digestion, which means the fire. Your body is made up of three elements: water, earth, and fire. These three things. Or air, I'm sorry, not water. Air, earth, and fire. Kapha, Pitta, Vayu. So Pitta is in the body also as digestion. If your fire of digestion is low and you eat, you won't digest your food and you'll get sick. The fire helps digestion. That's mentioned in the Gita also. Krishna says, I am the fire of digestion.
is that why
everything has a purpose. That's the point. Everything is part of Krishna's created energy, and it has a particular purpose. Fire, you can cook your food. Fire, you can heat your home. Fire, you can, destroy things. This fire is a very powerful material element. Fire also gives light. Not only does it give heat, but it gives light. Light is necessary in order for one to see. That's why the eye is connected with fire, because the eye cannot see unless there's light. The power of the eye, there's no power in the eye to see unless there is an outside form of illumination to allow the eye to see. That's why we have the sun. The sun is the ultimate illumination in all of creation, because it allows you to see using your eye. But if you have some eyes and there's no light, what can you see? So all these elements have purposes. That's all. Part of God's creation.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Wonderful questions, beautiful answers. Any last minute questions for His Holiness?
We got Bala here.
Balaji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Maharaj. I appreciate your patience taking all the questions. So my understanding then is everything I see outside, I have to connect myself to Krishna, somewhere or the other.
Yeah. Because everything you see is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. Not only everything you see, even the things you don't see is the manifestation of Krishna's energy. You have to understand behind the source, behind the energy is the source of energy, and that's Krishna. And to help us in our devotional service, when we see things in relationship to Krishna, then we realize these things have been given to me to be used in the service of the Lord. So therefore, the material energy has value for the devotee because we use different elements of the material energy so we can serve the Lord with that. So everything is a manifestation of Krishna's energy, ultimately. And if you see like that, you're never in anxiety because you realize it doesn't belong to you. Whatever we have is given to us. And whatever we will, at the end of this, our time in this world, everything will be gone because it's here when we come. It's given to us. We might say, well, I worked to achieve it. No, you didn't. All you did was you manipulated the energy in such a way as to make things happen on a certain level. So we can manipulate the material energy, just like you can take two elements and put them together and get a third element. You take a hydrogen and oxygen, and you can make water. You mix various chemicals together, and you get another element. So we're manipulators. We take a tree, we cut it, we make some wood out of it, and we build a house. And we think, well, it's my house. But where did the wood come from? You didn't make the wood. It comes from the tree. And where does the tree come? That tree is a living being that was created by God. So you could have the things you need in this world. God's very kind. He gives us all of these things to use for our livelihood and for using in His service, both. But it's not, we don't own anything. Nothing is ours. We can claim falsely, just like Prabhupada would say. People say, well, yes, I'm going to renounce. But what can you renounce? You have nothing to renounce. It doesn't belong to you. Just like, you might walk into somebody's house and say, well, I'm going to leave this house. I'm going to renounce the house. It's not your house. How can you renounce something that doesn't belong to you? So whatever we have, even the body we have, is given to us. The only thing we have is our relationship with Krishna. That's all. And the items that Krishna provides in this world are opportunities to use these things in the service of the Lord. Because in order to serve, you have to offer something.
Very nice, Maharaj. I think the only thing we can renounce is our desires. But then It's not easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much.
So even if you're offering to God anything, that's the mood we need to carry. It's not belongs to me.
Yeah.
It belongs to Him.
Yeah. Yeah. If you see like that, you're actually seeing. You're seeing everything in relationship with God. That is spiritual vision. That is real vision.
Just like Prabhupada said one time, we go to Ganga, take water of Ganga and offer it to her.
Perfect example, yeah. We're taking Ganga's water and offering back. But what is the offering? There's a prayer. So the prayer makes the offering. The water is just a means to make the offering. But the offering is the prayer, really.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Bella. That was a nice question. Really good.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So
we can be happy when we realize nothing belongs to us. Therefore, there's no loss and there's no gain. People struggle to get things and people lament when they lose them, but devotees don't have to worry because whatever comes is by way of Krishna's mercy, and whatever's gone, it's also by way of Krishna's mercy. We accept whatever Krishna provides. We may make a little effort to get certain things in order to live, but the effort is also Krishna's intelligence. That's all. You see everything in relationship to Krishna, then there's no loss. But we have to live in a way that we follow the laws of nature. We shouldn't go against the laws of nature and say whatever happens is Krishna's mercy. That is little outside of the understanding. If you say, well, I'm going to go out in the freezing weather with no coat on, you shouldn't do that because you could get sick. So the intelligence tells you you'll get sick if you do that. So you can't say, well, I got sick, that means it's Krishna's mercy. No, it's your lack of understanding of how to act properly. That's all. So we also have to know how to act. So in our relationship to using Krishna's energy, both for our material well-being and for our spiritual elevation. So that science is taught in the scriptures. Scriptures is the knowledge given to us by Krishna. Okay, so we can stop here. Thank you very much, Nina. And
thank you very much, Maharaj, for your wonderful association every other week. We are so fortunate to have you on this call. Please keep giving us your association. Devotees, let's offer our humble obeisances at Maharaj's holy feet.
His Grace Candramauli Swami Maharaj.
Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you, Maharaj.